Welcome to another edition of the BIPAC Monday Brew. And today, once again, we start with the state of Texas and some good news for Senator John Cornyn. We have a new poll released at the very end of last week that found Senator Cornyn leading Attorney General Ken Paxton for the first time this year. This is from the Texas Public Opinion Research firm that finds Cornyn leading Paxton 32 to 26, and now 29% of the likely Republican voters are undecided, according to this new poll. And this poll was taken before a new revelation of another extramarital affair that Attorney General Paxton is alleged to be involved in. So this race could turn dramatically here, where Cornyn was trailing badly. And this new poll suggests, with Cornyn now taking the lead, and since August, he has closed the gap significantly. From the beginning of the year until August, he was averaging about 14 points behind Attorney General Paxton. Since August occurred, that dropped to about 4 points, and now the addition of this new one that has Cornyn up by 6 points really reduces that average lead to just about a point and a half. So big change in the Texas primary. And if the situation involving Ken Paxton and another extramarital affair, you remember it became big news having an affair, and this is with a different woman who was married at the time of this affair started. We see that that became a focal point of the impeachment proceedings that was launched against Paxton in the State House of Representatives. And then the trial in the Senate, the state Senate, that did acquit him. But these things have dogged Paxton for quite a while now. We've got fresh information. And this new information, along with the polling swing, could put this primary race on a different trajectory, and maybe permanently so, that sees Senator Cornyn now moving towards renomination and then going into what will be another competitive general election in November of 2026. So, big changing situation in the Texas Senate race in favor of Senator John Cornyn. Let's move to New Hampshire now, more Senate news, where it looks like former U.S. Senator John E. Sununu, the brother of the governor, former Governor Chris Sununu, and of course, son of White House Chief of Staff and former New Hampshire Governor John Sununu. John E. Sununu served in the House. He was elected in 1996 and then was elected to the Senate in 2002 and defeated Jeanne Shaheen when she was governor trying to move to the Senate. So Sununu wins that race. 6 years later, we see a rematch, and Shaheen wins that rematch and defeats John E. Sununu in 2006. And he really, from a political standpoint, at least in terms of running for office, we have not heard from him since that defeat in 2008. Excuse me, it was 2008, not 2006. And we will now maybe see him coming back in the Senate race with the Shaheen retirement. Apparently, this is a very serious thing as Sununu moves forward to soon announce his own Senate candidacy. This is a big break for the Republicans because it puts that seat in a more competitive stance. We had a quick poll that was done when Sununu's name came out, and it appeared that he was within the margin of error, or just basically a flat-out toss-up, trailing Congressman Chris Pappas, who's becoming the consensus Democratic nominee, 45 to 43%. And so this race all of a sudden then becomes highly competitive. Scott Brown, the former U.S. Senator from Massachusetts, and remember he ran for the Senate in 2014 from New Hampshire and lost to Shaheen. Scott Brown was really not a viable candidate in this particular situation. They're not going to elect in New Hampshire a former senator from Massachusetts. They're just not going to do that. So the fact that we see Shaheen leaving, we see John Sununu now, John E. Sununu, maybe coming back into the picture here to face Congressman Chris Pappas, that becomes now a competitive race. The Republicans really haven't done too well in New Hampshire. President Trump lost it all 3 times, but the Sununu family does. And so this really would give the Republicans some hope and renewed optimism that they could possibly convert that seat in New Hampshire. And finally, we had another open seat occur for the 2026 election in the House. Just two-term Congressman Morgan Luttrell, whose brother Marcus Luttrell was the subject of the Lone Survivor book and movie, has announced that he is not going to seek a third term, wants to return to Texas full time. So that increases, at least temporarily, the open seat number to 31, and that includes 17 Republicans who have announced they're either running for a different office or retiring, and 11 Democrats, along with 3 new open seats that the new Texas redistricting map creates. So right now we're looking at 31 open seats. Once these special elections are filled in Arizona and Tennessee and Texas, that will drop to 28. So the open seat count beginning to rise.